When you're thinking about cybersecurity, you probably jump straight to firewalls or malware. But before any of that, you need to focus on the foundation, the physical and data link layers of the OSI model, Layer 1 and Layer 2. These layers are where data transmission physically happens, and they're often overlooked in security strategies. Let's change that. To truly understand network security, you need to start with the basics, layers 1 and 2 of the OSI model. At Layer 1, the physical layer, you're dealing with the tangible components of your network. This includes the cables running through your building, the switches they plug into, and even the wireless frequencies your devices use to communicate. It's all about the actual transmission of electrical or optical signals, the raw medium that carries your data from point A to point B. Then comes Layer 2, the data link layer. Here, you're responsible for how data is packaged and moved across a single link in the network. You'll be handling MAC addresses, managing ARP traffic, and controlling how your switches decide where to send those data frames. This layer ensures devices on the same network segment can talk to each other reliably and securely. While these layers may seem low-level, they're critical, and when overlooked, they become easy targets for attackers. When it comes to the physical layer, which is Layer 1, your network security can literally come down to how well you protect your cables and ports. You might have the most advanced firewalls and threat detection in place, but if someone can walk in and plug into an open port, all that effort can be bypassed in seconds. You're vulnerable to unauthorized physical access, where an attacker simply connects to an exposed network jack or sneaks into a server room. There's also the risk of cable tapping or wiretapping, where someone intercepts your data by physically splicing into a line or using an inductive tap. You also need to watch out for rogue hardware, tiny devices like Raspberry Pi units or LAN taps that can be discreetly connected to start silently collecting traffic. Then there's electromagnetic interference, where attackers disrupt your wireless signals, affecting availability or introducing data loss. Unprotected or exposed cabling is another common weakness. It can be easily damaged, rerouted, or tapped without much effort. And if you don't have surveillance or access logging, you won't even know something went wrong until it's too late. These are low-tech but high-impact threats, and they highlight why securing your physical infrastructure is absolutely essential. To secure Layer 1, you need to take control of your physical environment. Start by locking down your server rooms and telecom closets. These are high-value targets and should never be left accessible to unauthorized personnel. Make sure you're using port security on all network switches and disable any unused physical ports so no one can simply plug in and get access. Don't forget about video surveillance and access logging. Having cameras in place and maintaining a record of who enters restricted areas gives you both visibility and accountability. Get into the habit of inspecting your cables and patch panels regularly to catch any signs of tampering or wear. And finally, consider adding tamper-evident seals on your equipment and enclosures to help you detect if someone's tried to interfere with your setup. These steps may seem simple, but together they form a strong foundation for defending against physical layer attacks. At Layer 2, the data link layer, attackers start getting clever with how your devices communicate. This is where they can manipulate traffic flows and undermine the trust between connected systems. One common tactic you need to watch out for is MAC address spoofing, where an attacker pretends to be a legitimate device by faking its MAC address to intercept or redirect network traffic. Then there's ARP poisoning, which corrupts your ARP cache so that traffic meant for one device is quietly redirected through the attacker's system. You also need to be cautious of VLAN hopping. This involves exploiting misconfigured switches to break out of one VLAN and access another, potentially sensitive network segment. Another serious threat is the CAM table overflow attack, where the attacker floods the switch with so many fake MAC addresses that it runs out of memory and starts broadcasting traffic to all ports like a hub, exposing your data to unintended recipients. Lastly, spanning tree protocol manipulation can be used to alter how switches build loop-free paths, rerouting traffic through rogue devices. These threats are subtle and low profile, but they can open the door to full-scale compromise if you're not paying close attention. To secure Layer 2, you need to take proactive steps that harden how your switches handle traffic. Start by enabling port security on your switches. This lets you control which MAC addresses are allowed on each port, reducing the risk of unauthorized devices joining your network. Implement dynamic ARP inspection and IP source guard to protect against ARP spoofing and IP address hijacking. Make sure you configure your VLANs properly, keeping sensitive systems separated, and where possible, use private VLANs to isolate devices even further. You should also limit the number of MAC addresses each port can learn and set appropriate aging timers to flush stale entries and avoid CAM table attacks. Lastly, disable any unused switch ports to prevent rogue access, and turn on BPDU guard to stop unauthorized switches from interfering with your spanning tree configuration. These settings may seem like small tweaks, but they play a big role in locking down Layer 2 from the inside out. So, what's your leadership takeaway? As a security leader, you must treat Layer 1 and 2 with as much importance as higher layers. These layers are the launchpad for many attacks. If attackers can compromise the physical layer or manipulate frame-level data flow, everything above becomes vulnerable. Secure your cables, ports, switches, and wireless signals. Monitor what's plugged in and who's plugging it in. Remember, a strong security posture starts at the very bottom.